Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and I am going to show you today what the top 10 base damage dinos are that are tameable, that you can tame and keep, that are in this Ark game. Now, I am going to exclude a few basic things like the Titanosaur because that is the highest damage dino in the game, but you can't keep it, so it's not something I'm going to use on this list. So, it's pretty easy. Pretty simple. We're just going to go from 10 to 1. If you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm. If you haven't already subscribed, that would be awesome. Let's proceed. Now, starting off at number 1. Starting off at number 1, I guess number 10 in this list, not number 1. The lowest of the damage is the Rock Drake. This is the 10th highest damage output tame in the game. It has a base output damage of 60 base at level 1. Now, one thing about this guy, they're pretty easy to get because all you need to do is have a saddle and an egg. It's not like you have to go tame them. You just have to raise them using Nameless Venom, and they have an output that is pretty good. You cannot complain about it. So at a bite rate of 63 damage per bite, you can see that right there, 62 damage, you can actually increase the speed at which these guys attack just about 1 per second. So 63 damage is what you're looking at for any Rock Drake. So the Rock Drake comes in at number 10 on our list. Coming in at number 9 on our list, you can see it right here, the Mighty Rex. Now, it does require a saddle in order to ride the Rex, but when it is level 1 with 0 points into this bad boy, it has a very low overall stat level. But this guy is pretty awesome. You can see it right here. Base attack just slightly higher. Not too much more, not too much less, but you can also increase the speed in which the Rex attacks, so you can actually get a few in per second, making it slightly stronger than the Rock Drake. The Rock Drake is much more mobile. However, the Rex at a base damage per second will sit a little bit higher. Now, this is the next one on our list, the Megalosaurus. If you can manage to find this thing at nighttime and get it up and running, they are an absolute terror to the world. They do insane damage, and it's kind of nice. So you can see 164 with a crazy fast bite rate on these things, but that's not, something that's always going to be super useful for you. Why is that? As soon as you set it to daytime, they have an extremely slow and reduced overall damage output. So even though at nighttime, these things can compete with a Giga with the amount of damage they're able to output, they take such a heavy bonus, reduction, not bonus, during the daytime that they're almost non-playable on any map except Aberration. And next up is the Reaper King, coming in at level 1. This guy is next on our list. He has a very, very diverse set of abilities. Now, this is a very popular PvP tool and PvE tool, simply due to the fact they look super freaking awesome. They deal an insane amount of damage right off the bat. You can see that their base attack will do 131. Their spin attack, which has a knock effect to it, has an additional little point of damage there. They also kind of get balanced out because they also have their tail attack, just like that right there, which is a slow. So in combination, when you actually get these guys going, they are highly, highly, highly deadly. So these things are very nice. They can do tons of damage, and with their additional abilities, they rank slightly higher than the Rex due to the fact that they are able to off-put additional damages and stuff like that. So the Reaper, very, very bad Mamma Jamma tame. And ranking next up on our list, we have the Wyvern. The Wyvern is next on our list. Anything, including the Void Worms and the Wyverns, any Wyvern in general, sits across the board with their base damage being equivalent. So once you walk up to anything, you can see you've got a very quick attack speed, which is going to increase their ability to attack. However, what makes these guys slightly better is their ability to use their secondary attack, which will increase the amount of damage that you do based on per hit. So you can't show it on a dummy, unfortunately. However, if you were to hit with all of those, they hit for every single tick mark, and then it burns or bleeds or poisons or bloods or whatever it is afterwards, like the Blood Wyvern, the Crystal Wyverns, all of those. You got the Void Worm that does the electric damage. These guys rank next on our list. They are much more mobile than any of the ground tames, which makes them very useful. They can pick up just about anything in the game, and that high damage output makes them awesome. Negative side being they can't take much damage because they do not have a saddle. Next on our list is the giant death whale. Yes, the Astro. If you can manage to tame one of these suckers and then put a saddle on them, they have some crazy attacks. Not only do they have crazy attacks, they've also got some very nice secondaries and things like that. A regular bite from this guy is incredibly slow, only dealing 48 damage a second. However, there are additional attacks, including a tail swipe that does a rather significant knockback and single-handedly can basically win the tide of just about any war if you can actually hit what you're aiming for. We're going to go ahead and come on, please swing. Yeah, swing. You will actually do a ton of damage and knockback with that guy. It has a saddle that increases its ability to use tech. It can fire poop at people, and it's got a blink ability with hyperdrive, which is very useful, obviously. So you can see right here, it'll congregate, and then boom, you can teleport to a location, making these guys very useful, and they will gain cosmic power, allowing them to do that ability. Now, the reason they are higher on this list is because they have those additional attacks and that ability to use that cosmic drive or that hyperdrive mode right there makes these things very useful, because if you can get a good high speed one going with some good hyperdrive going on, you can teleport pretty quickly wherever you want to go. Now, pretty useful, obviously. That cosmic power does take a little bit of time to recharge, but the Astro does have a very high damage output. Next on our list is the Magmasaur. Now, the Magmasaur is a very dangerous creature. I know you've been knocked on them, or knocked off of these things, by these things, all kinds of stuff before. Now, they do require a saddle. You have to raise them from an egg, which cannot be super easy sometimes. And they are very deadly. So their initial bite, just so you can see the damage that it's able to off-put, is 125. With a decent click-through ability, you can keep that up pretty regularly, but that's not where these things excel. They excel once you start to get the abilities added into them. When you hit spacebar, you actually light things on fire near you, which is super useful, obviously, and then you can go ahead and keep getting a nice buff for them. And then also, if that wasn't enough for you, you can light things on fire using their secondary attack, lighting up a searing spit, basically charging and destroying everything, but you have to have metal on you. So if you don't have metal on you, it's something that doesn't work very well at all. So these things can deal a stupid amount of damage. They are very nice, and they're breedable, by the way, so you can get some crazy levels of these things. Next up on our list is the Rock Elemental. Obviously, this thing has taken you out before if you've been anywhere near scorched earth or a desert biome. They are very, very dangerous. They can hide inside of rock form. They have multiple attacks, a regular attack, a deadly rock throw, and then a sea spin attack that allows them to have additional damage output. Just so you can see, these things are very nice to have access to. 178 base damage, plus a rock throw if it ever gets stamina back. These things do not have high stamina, unfortunately. And these things do a crazy amount of damage. Now you can see right there, 446 damage just with that single throw alone. And they have the additional rotation right there as well, which has a knockback with it, making the Rock Elemental a very dangerous tame, taking heavily reduced damage to turrets and having very nice soaking abilities. They are a great mount to have with crazy harvesting abilities as well. Next up, you might not have seen this guy coming up on the list, the Megachelon. Now, the Megachelon is something that is actually a very high damage tame. You can see these things right here. They are very slow, so you're probably going to be able to outrun it if it chases you down. However, if this thing does get close to you, they are able to off-put a very significant chunk of damage. Plus, their high ability to soak makes these things absolutely ridiculous. You can see it right here, 218 per bite, and this is a level 1. Can you imagine what you could do with something that actually did some damage? And then you can see it right there. It's got that nice little bubble breath ability with a knockback. These things are very, very high damage output. If you get a high level one of these things, they can do a stupid amount of damage. That's if, keyword being if, you're able to actually catch something with them. They are very slow on land, and they're not that much faster in the water either. The Megachelon, second highest tameable, breedable creature in the game. Shocking nobody in our list, the Giganotosaurus comes in at number 1. Now, this guy, unofficial, some people have these things to 2,000 or 3,000 melee, literally one-chomping anything in its path. The Gigas are absolutely insane. A level 1, the reason it becomes so dangerous is because of its ability to continue that damage off-put at a relatively low cost. Now, not only that, that fearsome roar, yeah, not the greatest, very scary. Now, though they technically do less damage, their scaling damage with their melee damage is higher than anything else in the game. Now, When you tame them as a wild, their stats actually drop by 3 times, so you got to keep that in mind. It is a random roll when you tame them, but at a base damage that is incredibly high, these things are quite scary. If you ever get them into rage mode, you'll see what I mean. They are not something you want to be in any sort of bad blood with. The Giganotosaurus are very dangerous. They rotate, they run, they're the fastest tame in the game. There's not much you can do to outrun one of these things and or just do anything about it. A simple step of this guy will hit you for 120 damage. Yes, you saw that right. 120 damage just by stepping on you. Not a friendly character to be around. So this is the king of melee, the destroyer of worlds, the death machine, the Giganotosaurus. If this video is something you guys want to see more of, or if there's something you disagree with, agree with, make sure you leave it in the comments below. If you'd like to see some more top 10s, top 10 healths, top 10 all kinds of stuff, let me know. I don't care. This is fun for me. Let me know what you think, and hopefully this is something that you did enjoy. And all right, teach.